Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the atrium at Harrisburg City Hall. We are here to announce a very, very exciting new public-private partnership between our regional transit authority, Capital Area Transit, and Chewy, which is the largest online retailer of pet food and pet supplies anywhere in the nation. You know, they gave me a statistic today, which is really an extraordinary one, which is 68% of American households have pets currently. And I can tell you, in the city of Harrisburg, I think that's about right. We are a very pet-friendly city. We are in the process of developing our first dog parks in the city of Harrisburg. We love our pets, we love our animals. And Chewy is a growing company, an expanding company, and a company which has a unique business model for online retailers in that it is focusing on hiring full-time employees. And not just full-time employees, but full-time employees that start at a wage of $12.25 an hour and can go up to as high as $14.75 an hour with health care and other benefits. They have a warehouse in Mechanicsburg, and the city of Harrisburg has a population base that is thirsting for employment. And the question is, how do you connect the two? And that's where the importance of regional transit comes into play. And the adaptability, which our system here, Capital Area Transit, has shown in working with the private sector to develop this partnership is really extraordinary and path-breaking for the region. Now, I want to gesture to this map because it's a pretty incredible map. Every dot on that map represents a Chewy employee who is currently working at the warehouse in Mechanicsburg. They have over 1,300 employees, and more than 560 of those employees live within the city of Harrisburg. And obviously, if we were to expand that map out beyond the city boundaries, you'd see a lot more of the population center. So the question was how to establish a new bus route and how to do it effectively. And as you look at this map, you'll see that basically on a daily basis, the buses are leaving from the transportation center right off here, a block, and heading over 83, down 83 to the Carlisle Pike, and then way out Carlisle Pike, I think you can see it on this, all the way to Chewy's warehouse. Now that is a long ride, but it is happening early in the morning and late at night, and it's accommodating the various shifts that they have at the warehouse. At the beginning in the morning and late at night, it's also taking residents closer to their homes, and it's doing that leg up to 17th Street and Market Street that you see on the map as well. So it's an incredible service, and the cost of this service is pretty extraordinary. Like all public transit, it is within the range of anyone to be able to afford. Only $1.75 is the standard fare for adults. You can get a monthly pass for significantly less than that. And Chewy themselves subsidizes that bus fare and offers, at least I believe, a benefit of 2 weeks of initial bus fare entirely free, and then a subsidized payroll deductible portion of that $1.75, which gets it down to about $1.50 moving forward. That is effective, cost-effective transportation that really addresses the needs of our workforce to find jobs and to find employment in the area. And speaking with Chewy, they are very bullish on their ability to continue to grow, on the region's ability to provide qualified and good workers for them, and it really is a very, very positive news story for Harrisburg and the region. But before I hand it over to Tom Reynolds to talk a little bit about CAT and how they came to put this in place, I just want to say that we are fortunate to have a regional transit system in CAT which is willing to seek out and identify private partners to establish, and is nimble enough to be able to establish routes like this which effectively connect workers to the places they want to work. That doesn't happen everywhere else in the country, and it's something which we should celebrate, and which we are indeed celebrating here today. So Tom, well done. If you'd like to give a few words.
Thank you. Yes, I'll make my comments short because the good mayor has put it all in a very comprehensive way. Again, my name's Tom Reynolds. I'm the interim general manager at CAT, Capital Area Transit. I'm just going to say, put this in perspective. You know, many urban areas across the United States are right now looking for a large internet company to locate to their business. Well, that's good, and of course the greater Harrisburg area is looking for that same, is putting in that same proposal for that particular company. And in deference to our colleagues at Chewy, I'm not going to talk about it, but I think we all know who that is. Well, that's fine and dandy. It'd be great if that company does come here, but what we realized at CAT is we have the here and now. We have this opportunity to work with a great corporation like Chewy that provides good jobs to people who want to work, and they have a great program. I was very impressed by going out and seeing their operations. And if I ever happen to have to leave this job, I'll be working for Chewy because they got a great deal out there. But as the good mayor said, we have a population here that needs those jobs, and it's a good workforce. And Chewy has recognized that, and the only missing part of that puzzle was getting them to there. So when we first met, one of our planners are here, Deron Jordan, along with the other people in Brian Dean's department in planning. We sat there and we talked to Chewy. They had a great business plan, a plan that says, yes, we have these people here. They want the jobs, and we've got a good job. So we worked it out where we realized that, one, we might have to provide some new service there, and we did. And so we have that accessibility that matches up those good people that need the jobs with a good company that can give it to them. So working with them, looking at some ridership guarantees, looking at having them provide those passes, as the mayor said, it's a great model for something that can be duplicated across the nation. So I can't say we're the first in the nation to do it, but this is one of the few places that is being very proactive to make sure that we can get those people to their jobs. So again, I want to thank personally the partnership that we have developed here with Chewy, and I'm going to pass the torch over to Justin Canellis, is the general manager at Chewy at this location. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning, and thank you, Mayor Papenfuse, for the opportunity to be here. I'm very excited about the opportunity to partner with CAT and Chewy, and the opportunity it provides to the Harrisburg residents and almost 1,400 employees at Chewy in Mechanicsburg that live in Dauphin County and Cumberland County. I think this partnership symbolizes the benefit that exists when community service meets outstanding opportunities in private business. Public transportation gives people options who are looking for a better opportunity, but might be constrained by the ability to find reliable transportation to and from work. The partnership between CAT and Chewy opens the door to personal career growth, professional development, and just personal pride in a job well done. At Chewy, we strive to promote from within and have many team members who have risen from coordinator roles to management roles at our facility at EOC in Mechanicsburg. We look for employees who embrace our culture of providing superior customer service to our pet parents, have a strong work ethic, are self-motivated, and want to have fun too. There's a sense of pride and self-sufficiency that comes from maintaining steady full-time employment and career development. This partnership provides low-cost transit service available to local candidates who may otherwise not have access to additional job opportunities without it. I can personally think of examples of employees who are already benefiting from this service. One individual was working 3 jobs to pay for an Uber service to get to their primary job at Chewy, which is the job that they wanted. They are already utilizing this service, and because of this service, quality of life has already gotten better. They have a reliable method of transportation. They're saving because they're using the CAT bus service, and obviously one less job to manage. Our first rider a couple weeks ago actually had a complication where they didn't have a ride back home from work. They didn't plan to take the bus, but obviously utilized it when they saw the service was available. CAT Transit took them to within 2 blocks of their home that day. We also, recently someone came from out of state to Harrisburg looking for a better life. They did not have a ride option, reliable transportation. As soon as they saw this opportunity, they jumped all over it. That person is now an employee at Chewy, working in a better paying job, utilizing the CAT bus service. So there's a lot more examples of those. I just wanted to call those out. But we look forward to continue to invest in the local community by providing these jobs. If you're interested at home and applying and working at Chewy, that would be at chewy.com/jobs. Again, great place to work, a lot of opportunities. We promote from within and aggressively develop our workforce. If you're interested, chewy.com/jobs to apply. I wanted to thank Tom Reynolds and the CAT staff for the responsiveness and cooperation. An additional thanks goes to Reverend Scott Minnick and Salvation Army for the tireless work on the project and in the Harrisburg community. And again, just wanted to thank Mayor Papenfuse and his staff for their support of Chewy. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll just end on a few more points. First of all, this is why we need a strong regional transit system, and particularly why we need CAT. A lot is said sometimes about the municipal boundaries or geographic boundaries that divide us, but here's an example of residents in Harrisburg and Dauphin County needing to get to jobs in Cumberland County. We need a regional transit system that connects those employees to those jobs, and we need not to lose sight of that sometimes when we're having discussions about reorganization and the future of regional transit. I want to also acknowledge Bruce Weber, who's one of our board members for CAT and who's joining us here today. That's certainly the city's focus, is on how we can expand and do even more with the opportunities that we have for the region. We are one region, and we need a regional transit system that connects us. Number two, I want to acknowledge the Salvation Army, which is here in the back, as well as CareerLink, because that is an extraordinary number of employees that are currently working in Mechanicsburg and living in Harrisburg. And I think it does show both the outreach that Chewy as an employer has done here in the city and how that has paid off, but it also shows how many of our organizations locally have really worked to place individuals in these excellent, well-paying, full-time jobs. And finally, let's end on a statistic which was shared. Now, this has been in effect for only a week, so it's very preliminary, but within the first week alone, we had over 125 riders already utilizing this service, and we think as the word gets out, and I know Chewy is doing a lot of work internally to make sure that everyone understands about this service, it's really going to take off. And so thank you all very much, and we would be happy as a group to take any questions that you may have. In the back.
How many jobs or positions are available at Chewy at this time?
So I know that they are about to go into their busy, many retailers are going into the busy holiday season with Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up. So I know they are actively hiring and looking to grow beyond the current number of the 1,300 plus employees that they have. I don't know if you have a set number in mind, but you are robustly hiring and would look to hire as many people probably as you can at this time.
Yeah, typically.
Go ahead. Yep.
So typically we're, again, to the mayor's point, we are in a growth cycle as a company. We grow week over week, year over year, exponentially. So on a standard basis, we're hiring almost 50 people. Going into the peak time period around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that number will almost double to 100. We're hiring across the board, hourly workforce jobs, administrative jobs, management jobs will all be available during that time period.
So you believe this new service will help to fill those positions?
It's already helped. We've already leveraged some of the community involvement to kind of be a pipeline of potential candidates to employ. And it has already been involved in some of our local hiring events, and people are actually working with us with the understanding that they'll be able to utilize this bus service to get to and from them.
Has the lack of convenient bus service caused you to not be able to hire workers?
To be quite honest, there have been opportunities in the past where we've attempted to recruit in the Harrisburg area, and people have wanted to work and mentioned the fact that they did not have a right option. At that point, CAT was not a part of our recruiting effort.
And I'll add to that, which is that we get that all the time. So the need was expressed by the residents of the city, and then I think facilitated by CAT and connecting to the private business of Chewy. So although they were very successful in recruiting, there are many more individuals that would like to take advantage of this opportunity but couldn't due to their own transportation needs.
So in the future, Mayor, are there other businesses that you would like to work with in CAT to extend services so more people in Harrisburg can get to the West Shore?
Yes, there are, and I can let Kat address that, but I think that we are viewing this as something of a model that could serve as the basis for future routes and future collaborations. One of the important aspects of this is that Chewy as the business is guaranteeing a certain number of riders for CAT, which makes the route possible, and is also helping to advertise and really push the route among its workforce. If there are other businesses out there, and there are, that have needs and are interested in entering into a similar type of partnership, I know CAT would be interested in considering it, and it has to be justified by the data, basically by the demand, which can be seen and tracked very easily with the technology that CAT currently has today. But yes, we'd like to see this expanded further. And while it is not unique nationally, the Harrisburg region is well positioned. We were just discussing today, Mechanicsburg and Harrisburg. How long is this bus ride? About a half an hour. Right, about a half an hour. That is actually relatively short compared to other regional areas of the country. It's a workable partnership, and we are fortunate to have that. Do you want to address the other businesses? Yeah.
Well, even before this, I'm going to say I'm remiss in not saying that, especially during the summer season, we work with Hershey Park, and mostly with the summer employment, but that is a large employer in the area, and we gear up our services, our regular service, to provide service to that. But this is, as the mayor mentioned, is a unique model of working with a specific large employer that we'd be able to modify the schedules and get into that relationship, which is really a business model that would guarantee us riders. That makes it feasible service out there. We have talked to other corporations, large and small. In fact, that previous corporation that's looking to locate in an urban area has actually reached out and wanted to talk to us about providing service to their distribution centers. However, we wanted to work with Chewy first, come down with this model, and see if we can apply it elsewhere. We've also had a couple smaller companies come and talk to us, and we want to start talking to them on both sides of the river, particular community aid organization here, and also a long-time established business over in the Camp Hill area. So as we work with those, we want to have these successes build upon each other so CAT becomes a service that follows the motto that's the motto of our organization is where CAT goes, the community grows. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Has there been any sort of added expense with this additional service, or does it work itself out with the additional ridership?
Well, it is an added expense, but between the ridership guarantee and some of the costs being subsidized by Chewy, it does become more of an a wash, we'll say. So again, it is new service. Now that's not to say if CAT has the opportunity to work with another business that has a route that's already close by and matches up with their shift times, we would be able to do that. But one of the basic things what we want to look for is a win-win situation that helps the corporation, its employees, and of course us with increased ridership.
How many riders is Chewy guaranteeing, and what is the model that you're using here? Are they going to buy passes for their employees, or can you describe this?
As mentioned before, they are subsidizing some of the initial passes they present to new employees, and they also have the payrolls deduction plan that allows employees in any company, they can set this up to take the cost of the transit fares or passes out of their pre-taxed salary and provide that to that. They're also increasing their advertising revenue towards, well, they're increasing their advertising costs and putting it towards that service So again, we're seeing direct or indirect revenues coming from Chewy as part of the relationship we're doing. In terms of ridership guarantee, we are talking about a couple different levels. And one of those things over the next 3 months, we are going to work with Chewy to see what level of rides per trip on a per day basis that we're going to be able to get from them. And then from then, we'll be able to solidify our relationship in more detail.
So do you know about how many new riders it takes to make your group sustainable?
On a per trip basis, I'm going to say it's in the range of 20 to 30 rides per trip. Yes.
And just while we're talking about the finances of all of it, I think it is important to also point out that all of those dots on the map, so to speak, all of those Harrisburg residents essentially pay for CAT through their tax dollars and to the city and to the Commonwealth. And so it is important that their needs are addressed by the transit system. And so not everything will have a perfect balance from a route standpoint. But when you have the demand and the need of the taxpayer and the willingness and the contribution of the private business, and it really is incumbent on the transit system to sort of connect those two. And that's why this is a public-private partnership, and that's why that really is, I think, an exciting part of the story.
Is this, are these buses going to stop along the way to Chewy and serve other businesses?
There are stops along the way. There is a map and a route schedule, which we can hand out and you can see, but it stops at everything from, the
Hoagstown area.
The Hoagstown area, Fry Communications.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're very careful, we want to make sure this is a public service. While the endpoint is at Chewy, it has some stops in between. And one of the great things that Chewy has done is also talk to a lot of its neighbors in and around the industrial area that it is. And we've seen some of those employees from those companies coming and taking advantage of this particular service.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and we'll stick around if there are any further questions. Appreciate it very much. Thanks again to Chewy and to Kat for this partnership. Have a nice day.